Well, okay, we're live now, but I
Live.
have double
Okay.
audio, and that is totally on my fault because I had the Twitch up, and of course now Sh0ppo's frozen because of this craziness. Okay, now we're good. Everything should be good now. Audio check, video's good. We're here. We're live. Uh,
All right.
my
Then
fault. That's my fault.
let's get into it.
Yeah, yeah. So we're here with the what is it? DevDiary 26
Just
now.
26. Yeah.
Yeah,
Twenty-six.
me and Sh0ppo were just talking about how Sh0ppo mentioned that he's getting real tired of just doing constant dev diaries, and I think 26 is a high number, so we need something a bit more than this. I think
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
entertainment and just game wise, give us something more. Early access beta, something.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I can wait until the game is released. I mean, I just wanna get a proper and finished game. But yeah, just like you said, I'm getting kind of tired of doing all
Yeah,
the dev diary stuff because we put a little effort into it. If you guys who are following around this channel,
yeah,
you know what we're talking about, and yeah. That's the only thing. And the other thing, and I think you want to give us a summary um, in the next few seconds, is that especially this dev diary, from seeing all the nice pictures, the production chains, the goods, what will be available if you build those things, it makes me really want to play the game.
yeah. At least see how it is and feel out if the game's good, if the game's bad. Who knows, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but let's get into the summary then. So, DevDiary 26 about goods and advantages. Now, just broadly speaking, it's very similar to Knights of Honor 1 if you played that. But what's a bit different, I suppose, is that first of all, there's 64 goods, trade
Mhm.
goods, and basically each province that you take over in the world will produce one of those specific goods. When that province is developed, like you build the infrastructure to produce that good. So if it's like I say apples or something, and you build a apiary, or is it apiary? No, it's for bees, right? Apiary, apiary, orchard. That's the word.
You're the
Yeah.
yeah, Orchard. Yeah. You're the native speaker.
Yeah, orchard. When you build an orchard in your province, for example, then you might produce the trade good apples, and then that trade good would go into your kingdom-wide like trade global pool, basically. And there might be another trade good, say, that wants to produce cider from your apples, and that trade good, but in a different province, is a province that's dedicated for cider. But you need to develop the province for apples first before you can develop the province for cider. And that's, at least from what I gathered, where how they kind of link things up with regards to more complex goods. So basically, each province produces one type of good, and that good goes into a global pool, which allows you maybe to develop more complex goods in other provinces. I hope that's clear. Uh, you can also import goods. So if you don't have a specific good from, if you're looking for timber somewhere and you don't have any timber, then you can import that with a merchant. Generally speaking, you have a benefit of just developing a province for that particular good. And what I mean by that is when you develop a province to produce, say, timber, that timber camp or something will give you, say, some more income or things like this. But additionally, these goods are used for unlocking, of course, like kingdom advantages, which was the same kind of thing from Knights of Honor 1. But what's, I guess, strikingly new compared to Knights of Honor 1 is that we do have now goods that are specific for troops. So if you wanted to develop a specific type of advanced troop, uh, and I believe in the diary itself, it did mention that it was like different types of troops. So it's not just upgrades; it's like a whole new type of unit. So if you want a specific unit class, you might need a specific trade good. Uh, of course, goods themselves. So once you get all the kingdom advantages, then they have it as a win condition. So you can win the game if you collect all the trade goods that form all the kingdom advantages.
Yeah,
Um,
basically the small victory, like we know it from Night, exactly the same thing,
exactly.
like we
Yeah.
know it from Knights of Honor 1.
Was there anything else you wanted to add, or do we want to get into like the topics or the nitty gritty of it a bit more now?
I think maybe to put it out a little clearer, there is a difference between buildings and upgrades. So you need buildings to, like you said, to get cider, but within this building, there may be some upgrades. They showed the example of woodworking in the DevDiary, and I said, okay, we need for sure we need forest in the province. Then we
Yep.
can build the building for woodworking, or the woodworking building, and within this woodworking building, we can focus on another thing. That's what I called upgrades, like glassworks, as they showed. And for glassworks, like you said, you need also, how did they call it? You need minerals, and for minerals you need collier's kiln.
Okay.
And then in the end, the wood and the minerals, they get into the glassworks.
So there might be
this
chains
new
in
good.
the building progression where you
Yeah.
might need to upgrade a building, and then you might need to develop a good in a different province, and then now you can take that upgraded building and upgrade it further to produce a new trade good, something like this.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that was it. Basically, I think we can start into the nitty gritty, like you said.
Yeah. So my first question to you then would be, do you like the win condition of Kingdom Goods?
The small victory.
The small victory.
I do like it because that really reminds me of this typical Knights of Honor feeling, and that's very unique to Knights of Honor. I know it from the first game, and I like the game for it. If I just wanted to, basically, I think I only once or twice accepted the victory, but in the end, I always said, okay, now I got it. I got some really good economy, but I always wanted to,
You just continue playing.
conquer the whole map. Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it. I wrote in the dev diaries that I don't like the idea. Like I still don't think I do. I think the economic victory path that this kind of is needs to have more of a like your kingdom should have more of an imposition on the countries around you. I feel like, okay, if I got really big and was able to get all the province goods and I got all the kingdom goods, all that really means in a nutshell is that I was able to find all the provinces I needed and build the goods that I needed. How does that, like, to me that doesn't make it that you're an economic powerhouse that's controlling Europe, you know? I just don't see it.
Yeah, I get it. It just brings like kind of a different vibe to the game if you want to go for this. And basically you don't need to. Oh yeah, we have to talk about that too. You don't have to produce everything on your own because there is the possibility to import some of the goods.
Yeah, I actually mentioned that you can do that through merchants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Like I don't mind the kingdom advantages strictly themselves. Like I like the idea of collecting the goods and getting a buff. But I feel like there should be something next after that, not just that. Okay, if you collect them all, then you win the game. I think that's meh here and there.
I don't know, but does it really matter though? I mean, for the multiplayer with all those settings, I think you can just disable this option.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And for single player, you can basically ignore it. But that's the kind of a different direction that you can choose for how you want to win a game. I mean, it's easier to get all the goods compared to.
I suppose that's kind of what I'm trying to get at, though, is that I feel like no one will want to have this in a game because it feels so empty.
I mean, yeah, basically, I really appreciated the Kingdom Advantage in the first game because they offer a lot of buffs, pretty important ones, pretty strong ones.
Yeah.
But in the end, like I said, in almost any case, I just collected all the goods. by the way, it got really expensive to get all the goods and import all the goods in Knights of Honor 1. That was kind of a little problem, I think. But in the end, once I achieved all those kingdom advantages and got the small victory, I always said, no, I want to continue. Like almost all the time, like I said.
Yeah, so then to me, that tells me that it didn't give you this feeling that, okay, I've conquered Europe in some metaphorical sense,
It's different.
right?
Yeah. It's
To
not that big
me,
for
you're
sure. It's
literally
nice,
telling
but not
me
that
that
big.
you didn't feel that, and you're like, oh, I want to keep playing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
nonetheless, they're deciding to keep it, so we can move on from that. Um, William Blake, as we both know, cutted or screenshotted some of the critical spots in the stream. So here we have
Really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have some of the pictures of the kingdom advantages themselves. So we have abundance, mercantilism, age of discovery, age of war, masonry, progress, age of prosperity, age of enlightenment. Now, do you know if these names are going to be changed or they have been changed? Because I
I think,
remember
yeah.
William Blake brought that up.
You mean compared to the first game? Or
No, in the post.
like in general?
Yeah, he proposed for abundance, put crop rotation. For mercantilism, put foreign trade or merchant guilds. For progress, renaissance, or enlightenment. For age of war, put standing army.
Yeah, I think crop rotation would really make sense because that was a big achievement during medieval times.
I like all his edits. I mean, it can't be that big a deal to just change up the names a little. I think they make more sense.
Yeah, and some texts maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, little notice or a little detail. The first 7 of the advantages that we see here are the ones that are available for all the kingdoms, and the last one, the 8th one, that depends on the religion that you have,
Yes.
because they offer different kind of bonuses, and they need different goods, and Muslim countries, Muslim kingdoms do need some other prerequisites compared to maybe pagan countries, and it fits more to the gameplay because we heard that in the past that they differ a lot. They differ more than in the first game.
Yeah.
And so that fits pretty good into the whole picture, right?
I think also they brought it in. They mentioned because some goods are produced in some areas more than others. So like camels are more likely in the Middle East than in Norway, and so and religiously speaking too, if you were Islamic, then you're probably in the Africa area where there's camels. So for getting the last kingdom advantage, if you required some kind of exotic animal that is only bred in one area, then it makes sense that that last kingdom advantage is more tied to your culture, because then culturally speaking, you're more likely to be in that area.
And I can imagine that you need this. They call it social class or profession. I think profession. That you need this either directly for one of the for this kingdom advantage, or indirectly for producing a good. And what I mean by that is they account something like the bourgeoisie or the scholars. They account that as a good, but that's a good that can't be imported, right? But it works as an asset for your kingdom, and so for basically making it easier, they fit it into the topic of the goods.
There were a couple things that reading more in depthly onto these kingdom advantages I found out was somewhat interesting. So on the second one here, mercantilism, to the right, top right, they mentioned that you get inflation reduction. So I don't think that was ever actually mentioned in any stream that there would be inflation in the game. So there we go. There's going to be inflation in the game.
You're right. Yeah.
Which I guess is a way to soft cap the highly growing economies and make you spend your money a bit more than hoarding it. From the third down here on the left, Age of Discovery, they put down 10% ship sailing speed. Now, I don't know about you, Sh0ppo, but I remember in Knights of Honor 1, at least the rate at which my ship moves was really irrelevant to just almost anything. And I feel like 10% is like even more irrelevant. Though underneath that, then they put down +10 attack in sea battles. So maybe that's a big deal. But like, why bother put down 10% ship's sailing speed if it's not gonna have a big impact? And I don't see how it could, because if I'm correct, right, they don't have uh, any kind of like water battles. Like, it's all just auto resolved in a way.
I think so. Yeah, yeah. They do have naval battles, but I think it's auto generated. Um, but maybe speed. I mean, speed is important, I can imagine that speed would be important for naval battles. So that may give you some bonus for those battles.
Maybe like an additional attack. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
it's possible. To the right of that, we have Age of War, and they put down 20% siege attack. Now, I don't quite know what that exactly meant. My best guess is that it's maybe how quickly the food drops within a city, or uh, during the siege, maybe the enemy city takes casualties. So maybe it's how fast they take casualties. Well, what do you think, Sh0ppo?
I yeah. At first, I thought that it's the time a siege takes, that it gets 20% quicker.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. That's what I thought. But if you think about it, attack does mean something else.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Maybe it gives you. I mean, we have those talents, or how did you call it? I mean, the talents for the knights, the marshals, that they are more efficient in sieges and that they get siege bonuses.
Yeah. Skills,
Maybe
whatever.
maybe it is that your troops get a little more, more attack power during sieges. But
Yeah.
I clearly have no idea.
Uh, Under that, we also have under the same Age of War, we also have 3,000 capacity. Now, this is clearly manpower capacity.
Yeah,
Uh,
there's a little icon.
yes, and that
Uh,
icon I checked
do
on
you see
previous
it?
streams matches the icon on the top right corner of when they're playing. So it's for sure this like, and it's the same icon that you'll see on over villages that produce like manpower for recruiting army units. So it's a manpower thing with regards to the kingdom,
Yeah.
which means that if they're adding 3,000 to your kingdom, then there's a soft, or there's a hard cap to how much manpower recruits you could store up.
I
Uh,
I remember that you have to take into account that troops that are within a province, they eat up the food of that province, or that there is some kind of, can a province supply a certain amount of troops within it?
yeah.
Um, I just remembered that.
Maybe you know what's a bit weird to me, because I always thought the recruitment was very provincial. So in a specific village, you might have like two of these manpower icon units, and then that means you could recruit 2 units. Maybe manpower is when when in Knights of Honor 1 you would take casualties, and then you would like click the refill button, and that would cost gold. So maybe
Mhm.
they've changed that, and now it's just this like a general manpower pool that you take out from, kind of like Europa Universalis or something.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when your units take casualties, to refill that unit to full, it takes away from your global manpower, and that could easily be tied into your villages, and how many units you recruit out of your villages. So if you recruit like, if you have like 3 villages and you recruit 40, or maybe something more realistic, 10 units of an army right then and there, then your villages have no more manpower unit dudes, and maybe that means that your capacity increases more slowly. So then if you all of a sudden take casualties, you drain your manpower pool, and then all of a sudden then next time you take casualties, you can't refill your units, and then you like start losing
Okay.
battles,
Okay.
things like this.
I think it's just a kind of a cap that shows how many troops you can recruit within your kingdom in general. That it's a global
But
number.
3,000? That's a lot. They kept
It is.
3,000.
It is. I don't know how they
There's not 3,000 cities in the game or villages in the game.
yeah.
And
Maybe it depends on, it really is each and every single man within this army. So you can have a army made up of 3,000 people in it.
I think it's a manpower thing. I think if you want to refill your units, then it subtracts out of like a manpower pool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, could be true. But we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
we'll see. Age of
It's
Prosperity
interesting.
was also interesting. They put down cultural power. Now I didn't quite like. I have a hunch of what it could be. What do you think it could be, Sh0ppo?
Cultural power.
Yeah.
I think it comes into play when we're talking about the cultural influence, that you can have more influence on your neighbor kingdoms and provinces.
What I thought it was when you take over a province that is not your same culture and you want to convert it.
Yeah.
So cultural power might be the ease at which you convert a province that is not yours. Something like that. That's my
Makes
best
sense.
guess.
Yeah.
Besides that,
Let me just read through it. It says gaining access to a plethora of luxurious goods will ensure our nobility is loyal and content.
I think it's just flavor text.
Yeah, I can't really read anything out of it. Maybe it is also that, maybe people can't get influenced into another culture because they are very happy with their own culture, you know?
Oh, maybe, yeah.
That's what I think. Just from the first thing when I read through this flavor text, as you called it, yeah. Oh, Sh0ppo is in a chat. Hey, how's it going, man?
Hello, welcome.
Yeah, we're fine. How about you? How about you? Thank you.
One thing I also noticed was that now this was a complaint by William Blake about that the goods should be colored. Now, I'm just gonna scroll down a little so the viewers here can see all the goods.
Okay, what does he mean by that?
So he wants, for example, the military goods to be colored militarily, and goods for the kingdom advantages to be colored a different color, and say more advanced goods that require other secondary goods to be colored something else as well. So that way it can help
Okay.
your brain manage 64 goods, which I think is quite a lot as well.
Kind of a quality of life.
Now in this picture,
and
he puts green circles on all of them, and I believe that marks all the ones that are used for kingdom advantages.
for kingdom advantages, yeah.
Yep. Now, so he wanted them to be colored, and they're not colored here. Sure enough, but I mean, if you look at the kingdom advantages themselves, they look colored, at least here. So maybe they're implementing something to change that, as he suggested. So the goods required, ale meat, that is one color. Salted fish is different. Wool, candles, glass, that's a different thing. Medicine is a different color, and oils. Like all the goods are colored in the kingdom advantages.
I just thought that green tells you, okay, you
Have it?
you
Oh,
already have it.
yeah. Okay.
Red means you don't have it, and yellow means you could produce it because you got all the resources you need, but currently you're not doing it. That's what I thought.
Yeah. No, that's. I hope that's exactly what it is, actually.
Because that helps a lot.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
helps a lot. Because in Knights 1, I was always like kind of puzzling. Okay, I got that. I need this. I need this resource for it. Where is the province for it?
Yeah.
There was, in some cases, it was kind of a tough nut to crack.
Yeah, the just simple color coding, whether or not you have, can have, will have,
Yeah.
is says 1,000 words. I like the icons of the kingdom advantages. They look pretty pretty
Oh
killer.
yeah,
Whoever's doing the graphic
the
art there.
the pictures are awesome,
Yeah.
and also from the goods themselves.
The icons are so small though, so it's hard. I think once we get our hands on the full resolution of the game, it will be cool to see them. But for now, I just can't even make them out.
I see something interesting that made up the wealth of the Teutonic Order. I just gotta find the English name for it.
Okay.
I think it's Ember. Yeah, it's Ember.
Okay.
I think that's the second one in the screenshot, right next to the beer one. That kind of looks like Ember. Because I know from history that made up the prosperity of the Teutonic Order. Interesting stuff.
Oh yeah, this. Oh yeah, on the far left top
Yeah,
corner,
yeah.
right next to that the
The,
beer.
the
Yeah.
the second one.
Yeah, it looks like Amber.
Yeah.
Uh,
Then do we have some? Oh yeah, I got like one. I want to bring up one question that came up during the stream,
bring it up.
and I think that did they talk about it during the stream or during the Dev Diary? It is regarding cannons. Oh, I can see it yeah, I can see it in one of the screenshots from William Blake. There is cannons in the game as a good, but so the question was, will there be gunpowder units? But no, there won't be any gunpowder units, which could be imagined in a pretty late phase of the game, but there won't be. It's just if you have this good, if you have the cannons, then you can see them in naval battles, and the ships don't shoot arrows or stones or whatever. There is cannons firing, which is kind of a nice little gimmick,
Yeah, that'd be
which
actually
I
cool to
really
see
like.
on
Yeah,
the map itself. Whether the see the little smoke poofs come out of the cannons as they
yeah, that's
shoot at each
cool.
other. Um, if they were to add cannons to the game, I think they would probably be pretty nerfed. So
But honestly, I don't want to see gunpowder units in Knights of Honor.
yeah,
That's
neither
so
really do
late in medieval times that I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with having gunpowder units.
I agree.
But cannons on ships is cool though.
Uh,
Hey, super flüssig. Nice to read you.
I think we'll just conclude up then. I mean, we don't have much else to talk about. Don't want to string
Yeah, I
people
think we
along.
covered basically everything. Most important and interesting stuff for sure, I think. Yeah, yeah.
How do you feel about the stage of the game? Right.
I mean, it sounds good. Like we have this, guys. If you want to look it up, there is a statement on the official Discord. You just have to join the Discord and go to I think the KOH2 channel, and then it's a pinned message. That's where Bezo, the head of the studio, just gives
General
an
discussion.
update on how the game is, and they say it's feature ready, so they get everything in it that is that they want to have in it, and they're basically in testing. So it sounds really good.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in testing. My opinion is, I think I said this a couple of times. I would say just give out some closed or open beta to get more people into the game, get more data that you can use for improving the game. That's the only thing, and everything else, I don't know. If the game is ready, then it's up to the publisher to say, okay, when do we want to launch the game? When do we want to start all the marketing stuff? But yeah,
Yeah, because I remember you telling me earlier you think they're still pretty far away from a launch. Because you, generally speaking, what you usually see, right, is that there's a lot of ramp up of marketing right before a
mm,
game gets launched, right? You want to tell people, communicate out, show lots of gameplay, whatever. And the Knights of Honor 2 doesn't seem to be doing that still. And so, like you mentioned to me, you think that's a high indicator that we still got months ahead of time till they're launching. which unfortunately I think is true.
Yeah, I have no idea how much time they want to put into the marketing, but I think it will be at least. But that's just my opinion. Okay, I'm not in the game development business or publishing
this is
business.
just
I
me
think
and you.
it will make sense to have at least 3 months to bring it all up, to get people on board, to get, I don't know, YouTubers on board, to get streamers on board, to do, I don't know, game magazines, all this PR stuff. But you have to bring up some stuff. Maybe they do a beta or a technical test for the multiplayer at some points that may add up to the marketing phase, because it really is some marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, basically, if THQ is telling, we want to bring it out at this point, then you for sure know. And I think that's the thing that will happen. Or if they start, if maybe if they do not, if they don't go out with a very precise release date, if THQ gets into action, then that's where I get very interested in, because that shows me, okay, we're pretty close to a release. That's the signals that I'm waiting for. What do you say, or what do you think about a whole situation currently?
No, I completely agree with basically everything you said. That we're still probably at least more than 3 months away from a release. So I'm not going to add much more to that. But I saw one of the funny comments by Super Fairish here on the thing of gunpowder units. I think we will have mods with fully automatic rifles. Yeah, I was gonna mention that. I was like, if we don't have gunpowder in the base game, like, don't sweat. Like, there's probably going to be a mod soon enough
And
where you have
and I think
Napoleonic Wars or something.
Sh0ppo brings up extraterrestrial guns even, and I think he is starting to convince Sh0ppo to get into modding. That's what's happening in the chat right now.
Well, shit, I might get into modding depending how easy it is with the game. You know, never know.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay. I think we should call quits.
Yeah. Guys, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you guys tuned in a little late. Hope you caught as much as you
could
catch.
We were pretty on short notice though, right?
Yeah, fair enough. Are you gonna give the closer?
Yep. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching the video on YouTube. Make sure to follow us around, because we're
not going anywhere.
We want to. We're not going anywhere, and we want to keep you guys updated all around Knights of Honor 2. If there is anything new, like footage from the battles, if there is a release date, is THQ Nordic doing some stuff, you will hear it from us. So thanks again. Take care and let the sun always shine on you.